Never felt better to give a good old Ric Flair woo than after these Sabres not only take a 2-point lead in the Atlantic after a regulation loss, from Tampa versus Montreal, but the 2000th win in franchise history. The Sabres sit alone at top of the East with 100 points. Their first time with 100 points since 2009, 2010. And this is the first time they've led the entire Eastern Conference. I'm assuming probably since their President's Trophy year, because I did a little digging, and not at any point in the month of April, or I believe March, did the Sabres have a sole possession of the Eastern Conference in 2009.
I hate for this to be the first thing I say on this because it makes me hate it even more given what team it is, but the Hurricanes just won. So we are not in sole possession at the top of the East.
Son of a bitch. Why did
I just for the sake of accuracy and for the chat not to get upset because everybody's on the standings. I think a lot of people like us are refreshing the standings every 2 minutes. And I also saw I was watching the end of the Hurricanes game. Unfortunately, we are tied with the Carolina Hurricanes, top of the East, but do lead the Atlantic. So you were half correct,
dude. You could have at least if you would have been here on time. If you would have been here on time, my statement would have been correct. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. It's actually my fault. We didn't get on at 10:30 on the dot because I was rushing home to get here to be able to talk to all of you lunatics for this important post game, which is brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, get on over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over at 2 Goalies, 1 Mike. Of course, Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York, located at 5087 Broadway, Suite 100 in Depew, New York, right next to Catalyst Fitness, also next to DNL Plaza. 5-star staff, 5-star facility. Whether you got hurt at work, you got hurt on the field, get hurt on the ice, slip and fall, they'll take care of you over at Impulse Physical Therapy. I am, I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden, Hurls is gone, and you can see my face twice. Hold on, let's pull that back there. Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York, 5-star facility, 5-star staff. You can't go wrong there. If you slip and fall, if you hurt yourself on the field, the ice, you need sports testing done. Alex Peters and the staff over at Impulse Physical Therapy will take care of you. Mention us for a $77 assessment. And get over to Impulse Physical Therapy. Again, located at 5087 Broadway in Depew, New York, Suite 100. And I'd be remiss not to mention where we did our pregame show today, first pregame show of the season. Extreme Discount Mattress. Me and Joey Cons, you may remember back from our early 2 Goalies on Mike days. Joe Cons Jr. joined me at Extreme Discount Mattress in Williamsville, and we did the pregame show for tonight's game there. And I can tell you right now, incredible options, over 100 different types of beds at Extreme Discount Mattress. So shout out to them with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds featuring the Cool Gel memory foam, 2-sided mattresses, tele latex, organic mattress, Chatham & Wells, and of course Scott Living, all for 1/3 of half the supposed sale prices anywhere. So stop into their 7 locations across Western New York, or check out their website, extrememattress.com. That's Extreme with the next. If you're even looking for more savings, check out the new Closeout Center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga with up to 80% off their already low prices. Save a fortune on one-of-a-kind closeouts and floor samples. Get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. Remember, you mentioned you're a fan of 2 Goalies on Mike. You get yourself a free, yes, I said free, mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress from Extreme Discount Mattress. So make sure you mention that you are a fan of 2 Goalies on Mike. And I promised you guys I'd stop saying free like that, but I kind of like it. I'm kind of getting into it. So tough shit. So I'm going to keep doing it. But Hurls is back. Don't know what happened there.
I'm here.
We put you in timeout for ruining the moment to start the show. So
if nothing for the sake of accuracy, unfortunately, we had to do it. But I will say that regardless of what happened with the Hurricanes tonight, I think the Sabres reaching that 100-point threshold, even regardless of having sole possession of the Atlantic, is reason to celebrate. This is the first time since even before the playoff drought started, the 2009-2010 season. In fact, the last season the Sabres wore these exact jerseys. The Buffalo Slugs was the 2009-2010. Is
that why you wore it?
It's why I put it on right before the show. It is really amazing. You and I did a ridiculous task at some point over the summer, the dog days of August, I think, when the schedule came out, or even before that, when the schedule came out. We went through every single game and gave a prediction: win, lose, win in overtime, win in shootout, lose in overtime, or lose in shootout. Every single game. And both of us predicted, probably optimistic at that point, that the Sabres, I think it was 97 and 98 points. We were like a point off from what we predicted this team would reach this season.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to have 100 points with 7 games remaining, and for them to be 32, 7 and 4 in their last 43, 44 games or so since Jarmo Kekalainen was named GM, I think it's 35, 7 and 4 since that Edmonton game on December 9th, is beyond explanation. There are no words left to say for what this team has accomplished, given the expectations and given the start. And no matter where they are in the standings right now, relative to the rest of the league or the conference, 100 points is something to celebrate.
No doubt. And again, it's something we really got to go back and like kind of just see how close we were. That would be fun to see how close we were with our, me and you. I think me and you may have been 2 points off of our totals. I think maybe it was a couple of points. We had a decent amount of overtime points in there too, which Buffalo has done a pretty good job of getting, much better than in years past. But here's a fun stat too, going back off that 2000 franchise wins. Of those 2000 wins, if this is correct, Lindy Ruff served as head coach for 653 of those 2000 wins, including tonight. And then he was as a player for another 373 of them. That is insanity. So he has been here for more than half of those wins as either a player or coach.
And I think there's no better person to have led this team out of this funk, out of this drought, into the promised land that we were all waiting for so long than Lindy Ruff. Obviously, the first season was, no pun intended, a little bit rough, but they, credit to them, largely ran it back. Obviously, the Doan trade is massive, but at the time, a lot of us thought that was a downgrade, given the amount of goals that JJ Peterka has scored over the past 3 seasons. They brought in, I forget, Connor Timmins. They brought in Alex Lyon. They made marginally not extremely impactful moves during the summer, to the point where I think expectations were as low as they possibly could have been going into this season. But credit to the organization, credit to even Terry Pegula for knowing that, as we both said, if they hadn't figured it out by Thanksgiving or even Christmas at the latest, that a change was needed. And that change clearly was not Lindy Ruff, but it was Kevin Adams for Jarmo Kekalainen. And it was made at the precise right time after they were already on a 3-game win streak. So
there's some people that would still disagree about that, which is insanity to me.
I mean, and that's fine. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them, right? Like you can debate it all you want, but as Mike Harrington came on and told us, it is without a doubt one of the more impactful mid-season GM changes in the history of sports.
I think we have a problem with your microphone.
Oh, you hear me?
Now you're good.
You got me? Yeah. This is one of the most impactful mid-season GM changes in the history of sports. I would be not hesitant to say that it is likely by far the best winning percentage of any team that has changed a GM mid-season, because usually that team is in a really rough place when a GM has changed mid-season. But for this group to rally around each other, to rally around Jarmo, to rally around Lindy and the coaching staff, and go on this wagon, heater, freight train type run that they're on right now is truly, truly amazing. And tonight was another great example. They beat a team that was desperate, that was coming into their home barn off a really tough loss last night, a type of game that they struggled with earlier in the season. A team on the second half of a back-to-back, they struggled with the Blues one night, they struggled with the Flames one night in that same situation, but they played their hearts out tonight, and I think that they were the better team for most of the night.
Without a doubt. And and they have struggled with games like this lately, getting these games in the garage, and obviously the bad bounce that goes off UPL and goes off power and in the net. But they gutted it out. And I remember, because I was at the game, we were sitting in section 120, and I watched Alex Tuck, lower his shoulder, go around the net. And I literally said out loud to my buddy John, I was like, all right, Tuck, time to earn that paycheck that you want so bad. And 2 seconds later, just shovels that pass to Krebs, who was trailing, and he buried it. And I want to talk about Peyton Krebs for a second. What a glue guy for that locker room.
Buffalonian Peyton Krebs?
Buffalonian Peyton Krebs.
There's been a lot of quotes this season that come to mind. The first one being, there's actually 3. I'll rank my top 3 quotes from the season from the locker room, or whenever, post-practice, pre-practice, whatever. First one, Alex Tuck, I would say about 3 weeks or maybe a little over a month into this run, he said, I think we're legit, and we're not just trying to get in, we're going for the cup. We have the ability to beat anybody in this league, and we're not just trying to get into the playoffs. We're going to try to win a few series and make this thing absolutely legitimate. I think that was the moment for the team and a lot of fans where everyone was like, he is not wrong. This team could absolutely win the Stanley Cup. The second quote was about a month ago, maybe a little bit less, Rasmus Dahlin talking about the brotherhood and what they do off the ice to get so close to each other. It's not even just among Sabres fans now. I think the rest of the league sees how close this team is and how they defend each other on and off the ice. And he said very succinctly and perfectly, they drink beers. And anybody that's played on a hockey team before, whether it's beer league, high school, college, juniors, AAA, when you are of age, and especially as a beer league team, that is what you do. You develop a camaraderie amongst your teammates, and you go out and socialize. And for the guys that drink, it is a fun thing to do. And then the third one was, I think it was just yesterday, Peyton Krebs talking about being noticed at grocery stores in Buffalo. A fourth liner up until this season, Peyton Krebs, who
which is crazy.
Came over in the Eichel trade. He was largely, I would say, underperforming up until this season in terms of offensive production. He obviously was super scrappy, got into the middle of everything. We liked Peyton Krebs. We call him Psycho Peyton Krebs, but not everybody.
He is a psycho. Remember when he fought Crosby?
Exactly. Like I think he's made up for his lack of offensive production since he's come over in that trade by getting into situations where no one else would. And I think everybody loved him for that. But now he is being noticed in grocery stores. This is something like you heard from those 05, 06, and 06, 07 teams. And the thing that really struck me, because it's something that I identify with, and I think a lot of people listening that are from the area or have a connection to the area identify with, is I'm a Buffalonian. And he said it so genuinely to the point where
he meant every word of it.
I truly believe he feels that, and a lot of these guys feel that. Even if they don't live in the city, I know a lot of the guys do. Some guys live in Clarence, some guys live in Williamsville. Everyone in the area knows that if you're from the metropolitan area of Buffalo, you consider yourself a Buffalonian. Even people from Rochester who, shout out Don Stevens, are no doubt rooting for the Sabres during this run. It is, you probably didn't catch it on the broadcast. Don Stevens.
They let him do the second period, which I thought was really classy.
The beginning of the second period, and he was amazing in my opinion. I thought he did a great job. He kept saying Amerks instead of Sabres, which was really funny.
Well, it's a hard. I mean, you do it for 50 years.
But
almost,
he caught himself
I mean?
every time. Every time he said Amerks, he'd be like, Amerks, the farm team of the Sabres, win the draw, take it back. He was amazing. But yeah, those are my top 3. And there's endless moments. There's endless turning points, but a lot of that sticks out to me, and especially yesterday. That's really, really cool to see from Peyton Krebs.
I like this comment from Kevin. Costly when losing Carrick. I heard Lindy Ruff say during the post game he's going to be evaluated tomorrow. It is an arm injury. It did look like it was the arm or the shoulder, but I mean, couple clicks for Ricky Stanicki for, without hesitation sticking up for Josh Norris, who returned to the game, but knowing what Norris means to this team, his long, litany of injuries, or however you want to say it, just a guy who's only been here for a cup of coffee now just has made such a powerful impact. And listening to some of the players talk about it after the game, a number of them, they felt really bad for Carrick. They felt so bad for him, and you could tell how big of an impact he has already had on that room, and the leadership he's brought, the impact he's had on the ice, and just the willingness to go to war for guys he's barely known for a month.
Two things on that. First off, a doctor. I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. Many people aren't doctors, but a guy I really trust based upon his coverage of Bill's injuries. His name is Kyle Trimble. He's a physical therapist. His Banged Up Bills account online I think does a really good job of covering injuries. He said, not a fan of how Carrick's arm got twisted back into ER/abduction. Think baseball pitcher windup. As soon as it got twisted back, he dropped. I worry for a dislocated shoulder. Could return this season. Research shows around 10 days missed. So could have been way worse. If that is what it is.
Going based off that, I reached out to Alex Peters, our sponsor with Impulse Physical Therapy, sent him the video. He says, looks like he dislocated it anteriorly, and I'll spell the word. I can't say ANTERIORLY. So, and he's been pretty spot on with all the things the injuries he was spot on with Norris's abdominal injury, the time frame with that. There was another one too he was spot on with. I can't remember. It was more recent than anything. Who got hurt before the Olympic break?
Zach Benson.
Yeah, he was spot on with that one too. So yeah,
did he give a time frame?
Huh?
Did he give a time frame?
No, not yet. I'll actually ask him right now.
Yeah. So as with anything, good to get a second opinion. Good to get as many opinions as possible from people who actually do this type of thing. So hopefully it's not as bad as we seem. I think he's the type of guy that would play through just about anything. So even if it is like a pain management thing in 2 weeks, I think Sam Carrick's probably going to play through it. He's the type of guy clearly that will jump into anything. I had a lot of people ask me this. I was just texting with friends during the game. Obviously, Logan Stanley, I don't think was on the ice at that point, but given that it was Anders Lee, who's not only the captain of the Islanders, but he's notably a really, really tough guy, and he's also massive. Anders Lee is 6'3". I think he's like 220. Sam Carrick's 6 foot. I don't know how much he weighs. I think Lee probably weighs more than that. I love that he was the one that answered the bell, decided that he felt like he had to step in there and do something about it. I would have preferred if it was Logan Stanley, to be honest, given that was the matchup. Anders Lee was the guy that had to be fought, who made the hit on Josh Norris. I think that's exactly what they brought Logan Stanley in for. And if I would, obviously I don't think Lindy Ruff made that choice. It was probably Sam Carrick who spoke up and said that he was going to do it. And he's a guy that's well respected in the locker room, probably just said, say no more. I personally would have liked Logan Stanley to step up and say, hey, it's Anders Lee. He's a half a foot taller than you. This might not go well. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I agree with that. At the game too, I was surprised. And I know that how tall is Anders Lee against 6 foot?
He's listed at 6'3". That dude is huge.
He's sneaky big too. He doesn't really realize how big he is. But yeah, to your point, Ricky Stanicki, I love it. I love the heart, but that guy,
not a good matchup.
Reach, leverage, all of it on him. Weight,
not a good matchup.
Every metric that should have been Logan Stanley.
And beyond that, I know a guy who played high school hockey with Anders Lee. I think he was an all-state quarterback as well. Like, this dude is a freak, and everybody knows he's a freak. He's been in the league forever. He's got a chiseled jawline. The dude is like Superman. Like, he legitimately is a physical, athletic freak. And Logan Stanley, probably having 3 inches in height and reach on Anders Lee, I think should have been the guy to do it, personally. Even if, obviously, Jordan Greenway just came back, that would be the other option in terms of a better matchup. But you don't want him getting hurt immediately after getting healthy for the first time in months. But yeah, I'm not going to dive too much into it because I know that it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. I just think that in the interest of keeping, even Rob Ray on the broadcast said, yeah, you love a guy stepping in there, but at this time of year, you got to be healthy. And I think that was his way of saying he was proud of Sam Carrick for doing it, but he would have rather someone else done it.
And I seen there were some people, I think Matthew Beauvais quote tweeted it. There were people like, are we really going to complain this much about a fourth line guy? Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
important.
Yeah.
Especially
don't want to lose that guy. Yeah.
Especially come playoff time. Look at how much of an impact he's already made. They've had him out for critical faceoffs. He scored like 5 goals. He has been in fights, of course, and better matchups for himself, and he's done really well. Even that Tampa game, which was 3 days after he got traded to the team, he's clearly beloved in the locker room already. They've spoken glowingly about him. Yes, just because he's on the fourth line doesn't mean that we can't care about him or he doesn't have an impact. He's not as impactful as Rasmus Dahlin or Tage Thompson, but he is still extremely impactful. And I just think that was slightly irresponsible, not necessarily on his part, but collectively as a team to send him out there to fight a guy specifically. If it was anybody else, that's fine. But Anders Lee is Anders Lee. And I think everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to you, Rakeen Davis. Thank you for the super chat. Officiating crew was dog shit tonight. Yeah, dude, it was awful. I mean, that it's been a while since I've heard the refs get booed that much at a regular season game. They were so bad tonight, Hurls. So bad. Like, I don't know if you heard it through the TV, but I can't imagine it did justice.
People were asking if it was Justin Kia. I saw a variety of different tweets about it. I tweeted out the 3 blind mice gif after the missed call on Quinn in the offensive zone where he got tripped. I heard that was a pretty loud boo. Obviously, the missed boarding call. There were a few that were just really, really egregiously bad. And in these situations, like I do like to say that it is a tough job, but when you let the game get away from you, kind of like what happened in the Tampa game last month and in a few other instances this season, there's a way of controlling a game as a referee. And these guys, you hear in the mic'd up, they talk to these guys. Sometimes they chirp them. There's, I think it was Kelly Sutherland who did a great job of that. There's a few guys that handle the game really well and manage it. And these guys definitely did not do it because players from each team were barking at them all night. And the amount of fuck offs from Lindy Ruff that you saw on the bench.
Oh, yeah. I saw you got that one out there.
Clearly indicated how upset he was with the refs tonight. And yes, he does that occasionally, and he's fired up, and I love that passion from him. But he's also been around the league for 5,000 years, and he knows what's right and wrong. Of course, he's a little bit biased, but Patrick Waugh was doing the same thing. Probably the 2 most fired up coaches you could possibly get behind the bench.
Oh man, dude, like it's still mind blowing to me that Patrick Waugh is like a coach in the NHL. It's still mind blowing to me.
I said it earlier tonight. It was the most Patrick Waugh thing ever for Ilya Sorokin to get pumped for 7 goals last night, to pull him in the third period, and then on the second night of a back-to-back in a must-win type game for him to be like, I guarantee this conversation was this: you're the best goalie in the world. You want your net? And Sorokin probably was like, yeah. He was like, all right, you're playing. And it probably wasn't even a discussion because
I like that though.
That's it. Yeah, me too. But that's exactly what Patrick Waugh did during his career. It was his net and nobody was taking it from him. It's kind of like Jim Craig in Miracle.
Yeah.
And I thought Sorokin played incredible tonight.
Dude, there were some saves. I turned to my buddy and I was just like, as a goalie, John, he didn't play like competitive hockey growing up, but like, and there was one blocker save he made, high danger, right in the slot, right up the gut. And I said, he's one of 3 goalies in the league that makes that save.
He had one pad save in front of the net. I think it was on Zucker where he stuck his pad out at the last second. It was a wide open net and you couldn't see it until you saw the replay. But it's this special type of reflex. It's this special type of flexibility. Jesse Granger talks a lot about it when he breaks down goalies. He's so good on his edges, and he's so athletic moving from each side of his crease. It's really amazing to watch, honestly. And I will say, for as well as he played, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen matched him almost shot for shot. He, I think, is 100% on shootouts this season, and he's also 4 for 4 in his career on
I will say this,
shot.
man. There's nobody I probably trust more on a penalty shot or in a shootout situation right now than UPL.
And that speaks to where his game has gotten to, but because for a while he was not very good at that. And I don't know the numbers specifically from earlier in his career, but his patience has come so far. And Marty Biron broke down the penalty shot in the intermission, but he even said his right pad went down on Anders Lee. And normally that would disallow or deter a goalie from pushing over to his left. But he has so much flexibility and he's so reactive with his edges that he was able to get his right skate back up and then still push back over, push his glove out, and push it out in a way that Anders Lee had nowhere else to shoot. And he basically stoned him in every which way.
He even said, like, when they asked him, like, his approach in shootouts and on penalty shots, it was, well, I use my size to my advantage. I get lower and wider because I am as big as I am and I can take up as much net. And I wish I had that advantage.
Yeah, same. I come out as far as I can. Precisely what Connor Hellebuyck did to Connor McDavid in the gold medal game on that breakaway. He got as low and as wide as he possibly could, dropped down to his butterfly, and kind of like seat cut back and covered the entire bottom of the net, because that's usually what McDavid goes for, that little deke and trying to go far side on a breakaway. Covered the entire bottom of the net, and McDavid had nowhere to shoot.
Yeah, and
it's amazing to have that type of size and the ability to do that.
I do want to clear one thing up real quick, from maybe Matthew Bebe doesn't watch the games, because otherwise that is a reckless comment about Carrick. He wasn't saying about a Carrick. Somebody in his mentions said that about Carrick. He quote tweeted it and said, no, I disagree. Carrick is extremely important. So just to clear that up, we're not putting words in Matthew Bove's mouth. Moving on. I think both me and you probably agreed about a week or two ago that, you would probably be going Lion game 1. I imagine the Lion gets the next game. Who are they playing next? I know they have Tampa Monday.
I can look it up for you right now.
I imagine Lion gets the next game.
Yeah. So it is Senators on Thursday.
Okay. I think Lion has a pretty good track record against Ottawa, so I can totally see him getting that game. And that could be a make or break game for Alex. You know what I mean? Like, he might have to be on the top of his game, because Lindy, this is the first time he's started one goalie 2 games in a row. I can't tell you the last time this happened. So, and here's the thing. I would still feel as comfortable with Alex Lyon in net for game 1 as I would UPL with the way he's playing right now, because Alex has the pedigree and the experience. And we talked about this on the pregame show with Kanzi, like, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And I want to say this first and foremost. People think I bashed the guy. No, he was the reason we won the last game. Straight up. He stole that game. He was fantastic. He was great tonight. He also, if you want to go back, have you seen Major League?
No, I haven't. No.
What?
I haven't seen Major League.
You've never seen Major League?
I haven't. No.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm bad with movies. Sorry.
It's Major League.
I'll get on it. I also haven't seen any of the Rockies. So
what?
How far do you want to go into this?
How have you never seen Rocky 1? Hold the phone, dude. You've never seen Major League or Rocky.
I play sports. I watch sports. I don't watch a lot of sports movies. Miracle, I've seen a million times. I've seen all the hockey movies. I haven't seen Rudy. It took me a while to see Hoosiers. I haven't seen, God, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. Yeah, this is the thing. I'm extremely undiagnosed ADHD, and for me to like sit down and watch an entire movie, like I just fall asleep sometimes. Or like I can't like sit still for that long. So,
unsubscribe.
I appreciate, like, this is something I have to answer.
You have for. Anyways.
Yeah.
We are tabling this.
Yeah.
We are tabling. I didn't hear no bell. Rocky. That was from Rocky 5. Rocky 5.
I know Rocky quotes. I know Rocky references. I just haven't seen the movie in totality.
Well, anyways, have you seen Spaceballs?
I've seen basketball. I haven't seen Spaceballs.
Dude, that's crazy. I think we just found a whole new segment of the show.
Maybe so. But this is a Sabres podcast, not a movie podcast. So let's keep it moving.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen Goon?
I haven't seen Goon.
Oh my God, fired. If you're fired. Anybody who wants to throw a movie quote in the chat, I'll bring it up. If you want to throw a super chat in there, we appreciate the support. Thank you again to Rakeen Davis. We could use all the support we need, especially to get Connor Hurley more cultured. Apparently,
it's not a matter of money; it's time and also just like aptitude, and I just don't have it. So,
oh, dude, not watching.
It's like movies. Like I like movies; they're just not my thing.
We're gonna live stream Connor watching these movies for the first time. People might watch too. Anyways,
I will say the summer is the best time. So when this is all over, I'll try to catch up on a few.
Anyways, there's a scene in Major League where Ricky Vaughn is their ace, played by Charlie Sheen. They're getting ready to go into an extremely important game. It's essentially for the American League pennant, I think at the time, or was it to win the division against the Yankees? And Ricky's their ace. It was his turn in the rotation, and Lou decided to go with Harris, the more seasoned veteran, because he's had more success against the Yankees and stuff like that. And it worked out in their favor, and they brought in Ricky Vaughn as the closer and the storybook ending, yada, yada, yada. But anyways, I feel almost kind of like the same way about Lyon. Like UPL has not had a playoff game since the OHL. That's a long time to be not playing in a situation like that. So I could totally see, and again, this is not an indictment against Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. It is not. I promise you. He has been fantastic. He is just as much of a reason of the Sabres being in the position they are right now as Alex Lyon. But I could see Alex or Lindy Ruff having more faith in the veteran than UPL to start. Not to say that whoever is starting game one, that you wouldn't see a short leash on them, no matter who it is, because
I wouldn't even consider it to be a short leash. I would consider it to be indicative of the rotation that has worked so well for this team all season long. I wouldn't say short leash. Alex Lyon, there was a really good article by Greg Wyshynski on ESPN today about the Sabres and their Stanley Cup chances and what they're thinking will become playoff time. A lot of analytics people quoted, a lot of different hockey minds quoted, a lot of the Sabres quoted. And Alex Lyon had a quote in that article. And this says everything you need to know about Alex Lyon. He said, if UPL starts all 16 games in the playoffs and wins all 16 games, that'll be good for the team. And I would love that for him. So that says all you need to know. I think either guy will understand what the decision is for game one, and they'll be ready for that game, and they'll be ready for the next game, no matter what it is. If a guy goes out there and has an insane game, let's say gets a shutout or lets in one goal and is the main reason the team wins, I could see Lindy going back to that guy for game two and seeing what happens. Or if it's a couple goals, if it's a loss, who knows, maybe a weak goal or two, absolutely go with the rotation and go with a guy that's more fresh. I think that is the benefit of having two guys who are going as strong as Lyon and Luukkonen are. In reference to tonight and it being the first time since the Olympic break that a goalie started 2 games in a row, it was Lyon Luukkonen for 15, 16 games straight up until tonight. It was, as you said, specifically related to the game on Saturday, that game that this team, I think for their psyche, absolutely needed on Saturday to pull off that comeback and win in the shootout and get those 2 points after the 3 previous games. Not even after the 3 previous. I would say Friday night was their worst game since probably the Columbus game, which ended the 10-game streak. I think that Luukkonen was the main reason they won. They had a few days off, and Ruff liked his game in practice, liked what he's seen from him recently, and he's been so good since the Olympic break that he just felt it was the right decision tonight, and I think he was correct. You go with the hot guy, and I think that there's 7 games left, and who's ever the hottest following the game on I think it's Wednesday. My phone just died. It's the Stars game at home on the 16th. I think it is. who's ever the hottest after that game, I think is going to get the non-game one.
I think the Tampa game might be indicative of who you should probably start in game 1 too.
Yeah,
Whoever you because that could realistically be the most important. Not I wouldn't say the most important game of the season, but like in terms of the division, that could be the most important game of the season.
But if we think about it, that's also a back-to-back. So
yeah, that's true.
So we've got Thursday. It'll probably be Lyon on the road in Ottawa. See how he does. Maybe if he plays super well, he gets the game on Saturday in Washington, and then Luukkonen gets the game on Sunday in Tampa to give him a few days off, right?
Yeah.
Or even if Lyon plays well, given his age, like I know how I feel. I played a pickup game last night, and I'm extremely sore today. I'm the same age as Alex Lyon. He's in much better shape than me, but he's also 7 years older than Luukkonen. He needs more time to rest and recover. I can easily see them going Lyon on Thursday against the Senators, Luukkonen on Saturday against the Capitals, and then coming back on Sunday to give Alex Lyon an extra day of rest heading into that Tampa game. And if we think about it in that matchup specifically, the Lightning put 7 in on UPL last time they played. It was his only bad game since the Olympic break. Yep. So I could easily seeing that be the rotation, but as we saw tonight, I do think as it gets down to this time of year, Lindy's been in this situation before. He had Ryan Miller. He had Dominic Hasek. He's going to go with the guy that's hot and that's playing the best and it puts the team in the best position to win. I would say at this exact moment, it's UPL, just given the way he's played over the past couple weeks. But in no way am I saying that means that Lyon's the backup. That just means that right now the hot hand is Luukkonen. But clearly, a 10-game road win streak, 17-2-1 in a 20-game stretch. Lyon, of course, has that ability to be that guy again, even as soon as next game.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. We do have a question for you in the chat. Do you know who Mr. Feeney is?
Is that Boy Meets World?
Okay. I mean, I'll give you credit. Yes, that is. That is. But I was afraid there for a second. Okay. So, okay.
The thing is, I know references, like I know like quotes and certain things. But if you're going to ask me to like quote a movie in its entirety, the only one I can do, not the only one, but there's a few I can do, but the main one I can do is Miracle, because before every single start I had in college, I would watch Miracle to pump myself up. And it's pretty indicative of a hockey player, but like that's the one movie I always went back to. And I think it's a movie that a lot of hockey players go back to. And it made this run for the Olympic hockey team that much cooler this past February. But yeah, I don't know. And anyone who's close to me knows that that's my one thing. I can give you any sports reference in the book. I'm not a huge movie guy, and that's all it is.
I'm gonna guess that because you know who Mr. Feeney is, who is celebrating his 99th birthday today. Couple clicks for that fucking guy. The amount of life lessons I learned in life, I would say most of them came from Mr. Feeney in his classroom. And TV shows like Boy Meets World do not exist anymore. And shout out to everybody's first crush, Topanga Lawrence. I want to kick it back to our sponsors real quick. Shout out again to Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need to get a beer, get on over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over at 2 Goalies on Mike. Keep an eye out for more information in regards to their watch party for the first Sabres away game at the Lancaster location. Obviously, weather depending, and then obviously start time. They're going to shut down all of Main Street and the village of Lancaster. Giant screen at the end of each street, each end of the street. You're going to have street vendors, food trucks, entertainment. It's going to be a absolute blast. We've done this for Bills games. We always had a good time. The very first game, first one we did for the Bills, the weather was still fantastic. We had over 1,000 people out there. So I can't stress it enough. Make sure you come out. We'll buy you a beer if you do. If you mention, maybe I shouldn't put us on the blast like that. I might bankrupt myself. But maybe we'll buy a couple beers for you guys if you show up and show out and show your support for 2 Goalies with Mike. Can't wait to see you all. So keep an eye out for more information in regards to that. Shout out again to Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York with one of Western New York's finest locations for all of your physical therapy needs, whether it's a slip and fall, get hurt on the field, get hurt on the ice. Maybe you want your sports testing done. They do offer $77 assessments when you happen to mention two goalies with Mike. So make sure you get on over there. They're 5087 Broadway, Suite 100 in Depew, New York, right next to Catalyst Fitness. You got combine testing coming up. You can go there. Just they do it all over there, and it's five-star staff, 5-star facility led by Alex Peters at Impulse Physical Therapy, Western New York. And last but not least, Extreme Discount Mattress, Western New York's finest selections of mattresses and adjustable beds. They have 7 different Western New York locations. You can find them at extrememattress.com. That is extreme with an X. They also have a new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga with up to 80% off their already low prices for one-of-a-kinds closeouts and floor samples. I was at their Williamsville location for our pregame show. It was, I could tell you, they have over 100 different kinds of beds. Me and Joe Conzi Jr., we did the show while laying on a few of their adjustable mattresses that vibrate. They conform themselves to the way you sleep. It was the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in my life, and the prices are outrageous. By outrageous, I mean you can't find better than Extreme Discount Mattress. So make sure you go check them out. Remember, you mentioned you're a fan of two goalies. I'm like, you get yourself a free mattress protector. Hurls, your thoughts on the play of Tage Thompson tonight, still staying hot, and Alex Tuch finding a way to get himself back on the score sheet. You know, we didn't really talk too much about them. Darlene has been kind of quiet the past couple games. I shouldn't even say quiet. I mean, he's been scoring, but I just don't think that they needed him to be the guy tonight. I think, you know, for the lack of a better way of saying it, this win was more or less led by the offense.
Yeah, for sure. Tage has done what Tage has done basically since New Year's Eve. He's scored big-time goals in big-time situations. In that ESPN article today, I think Micah Blake McCurdy from, I think it's hockeystats.com, he said the main reason the Sabres are winning as many games as they are is that they are converting their chances, their best chances in the slot, into goals. In that power play goal that Josh Norris set up Tage Thompson, that's precisely what happened. And give credit, and we've given Seth Appert a pretty hard time on this show past couple seasons. I think the power play's been really good recently.
It has been.
They've been creative. They've been moving guys around the zone. It's been a noticeable difference in terms of their movement and getting the puck to high danger areas and to different places. Even that play tonight, that was a set play that Jack Quinn gave it over to Josh Norris. Little shovel pass to Tage in the slot. There was traffic, and you get a guy with one of the best shots in the world to fire off a wrist shot like that. Not even the best goalie in the world is going to save that shot through a screen. That went through 2 legs. That went blocker dot. That is an unstoppable shot. And even Jack Quinn's shot, I don't know if that was a power play.
That was pretty. And that's what he needs to do on the power play, man. We criticized him, or maybe I criticized him a few games ago because I saw him pass up. He had like 6 shots on goal that game, but like he had a lane as wide as the 290 to take a shot on the power play, and he tried to force a pass. I remember tweeting, I was like, what is the point of you being out there on the power play if you're not going to do the one thing you're the most good at? And that was so pretty tonight. Like the drag, the patience, and the shot. To your point, nobody's stopping that.
Yeah. And Alex Tuch, as you said, I even was wondering myself as he was carrying the puck into the zone and around the net. I was thinking that haven't seen a lot from Alex Tuch recently, especially on the score sheet. It's been a little bit tough as of late, and obviously that comes with the discussion of his contract. I was just looking up. Yeah, past 3 games didn't have a point, and it is just 3 games. He had 2 goals in his 3 games before that, and he's been pretty good this month. He's had 9 points in 13 games. Either way, that is a vintage Alex Tuch play. Using his reach, using his vision, getting the puck around the net, using it as a quote-unquote defender, and finding Peyton Krebs on the back door. That is a play that not too many people on this team or in this league can make. And Alex Tuch was there at the biggest moment, and it was the most impactful play of the game. So give him all the credit in the world for that. I just saw that the Sabres magic number is 2. So if the Sabres beat the Ottawa Senators on Thursday in Ottawa, the Sabres will officially end the 14-season playoff drought.
Are we sure? Because we got Nielsen. The Sabres cannot clinch a playoff spot on Thursday as Philly plays Detroit. One of them has to win.
I'm seeing the Sabres' magic number is 2.
Is it? Okay.
A win on Thursday in any fashion. Our guy Mike Harrington in the 14-year playoff drought is history. The Senators,
crazy.
The Senators, Red Wings, and Flyers all lost on Tuesday. Only Ottawa can still catch the Sabres. So
I'm seeing the magic number is 3.
Mike Harrington 18 minutes ago.
18 minutes ago?
The magic number is down to 2. Yeah, I'm seeing it multiple places. So
okay. All right. Because I have not really had much of a chance to be on Twitter, as again I was like just kind of racing to get home. So I don't know. Man.
What and
are they away in Ottawa or are they home?
Yeah. What a better place to do it. Think about all of the moments the Sabres have had in that building. The one that comes to mind, obviously, is these guys are good, scary good. Jason Pominville bursting around Daniel Alfredson to win that series in overtime. On shorthanded, I believe. That would be. Of course, you'd like to see them do it at home, but I don't want to wait until Sunday. If they can get a win on Ottawa and Thursday night, and as you've talked about, let's say they win in Washington on Saturday, I think tens of thousands of people would welcome them back to the airport on Saturday night.
Do you think do they fly in Ottawa?
I would say that they would fly from Buffalo to Ottawa, and then they would fly from Ottawa to Washington. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. I think we all have to show out. Absolutely have to show up to the airport. Like, I mean, it's non-negotiable, right? You have to. We have to.
Yeah, I mean,
we do it for random Bills wins. That means you have to do it for this. I need a 14-year playoff drought. Oh man,
100%. I'm with you there. So I hope it happens, and we will see. But having a control your own destiny situation to get into the playoffs with 7 games to go is really, really crazy.
Yeah, it is, man. You want to get us with your final thoughts?
I think that was my final thought, because that's something I didn't realize could have happened tonight. But I think everything broke the right way. And combined with the 100 points and putting themselves in an even better position in the Atlantic leading into Sunday's critical game against the Lightning, having the ability to get that monkey off their back with a win, which they've done so often in the past 4 months, on Thursday night in Ottawa against a rival, against a team that is fighting for the playoffs, has been really good recently. But a team, the Sabres, even with all of their futility, have beaten 6 straight appearances. They've won 6 straight games against the Senators. And to win their 7th in a row against that team, to get to 102 points, better place in the division, better place in the conference, and to clinch a playoff berth, to break that drought that has clouded this franchise for 14 years, would be one of the coolest moments in the history of this franchise. So hope it happens. And I have a game on Thursday night. Hopefully my team will be understanding of me being on the ice a little bit inebriated in that case.
Oh, it's going to be crazy. Apparently fan-made Stanley Cups have made their way back into Alumni Plaza.
I just saw that video outside of the arena. I retweeted it.
I'm so pumped. I just saw your retweet. I'm so pumped. How about I have a nickname for him. I'm not going to say it because we might try and do something with 26 shirts with it. But how about the banner? What was it? World Peace.
Metza World Peace.
Metza World Peace, which I think is his handle on Twitter, which he doesn't ever use anymore.
It is his handle? Hilarious. That's Zach Metz's Twitter handle?
I believe it is. Metza World Peace.
Oh, that's incredible.
I think I'm assuming that's where they got it from.
I mean, it's a pretty easy pun if you think of just meta, but yeah, I hope it is. That would be insane.
It'd be crazy. The But yeah, man, dude, I almost want to just go to that game in Ottawa. How fun would that fucking be?
It'd be incredible.
I've always wanted to go up to Ottawa for a hockey game. Not even just for just any game. Doesn't have to be the Sabres, but I mean, I would. Oh, man, we're going to New York.
It would be a tough ticket, but for anybody that can get up there and wants to see the drought potentially end in person, not a bad place to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all about out of stuff to say. Tonight was so much fun. Islanders that always, whenever you play the Isles, it tends sometimes to be a little more boring of a game. But the Sabres gutted this one out. Here's one last question for you, and then we can get out of here. What would your expectations be for game 1 at home from this organization in terms of like presentation?
I was thinking about it earlier. Give me either a pom-pom, give me a towel, maybe a shirt. I thought would be really cool because I expect to be in the building that night. I think I don't know. I don't think you necessarily need to speak of the drought on the shirt. I think that branding that we've seen in the emails for the season ticket holders, be here for this with the sword under it. I think that's really cool. If they put that on the front of a t-shirt and then maybe the team photo on the back and the 2025, 2026 Buffalo Sabres, I think everybody would be happy with that. I think if you were to make it a whiteout for that first game, it's something that we're all used to. I think either a shirt, a towel, or a pom-pom would be awesome, at least for in-game type stuff. I don't think you need to mention the drought because the drought is over. It's done. It's in the past. No need to acknowledge it. It's not the responsibility of this team or these guys on this ice. I think you just make it about this moment and make it as good of an atmosphere as possible. And when I think of that, I think of a whiteout. So I think that would be super cool. And then I already know, or I think everybody's at least aware, that they have a plan for the party in the plaza. Given how much cooler that area is now, I think it'll be somewhere down by Canal Side. They used to have, I think it was called Kerfuffle, an alt Buffalo concert down there at Canal Side.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. So I imagine they're going to set up a stage.
There's got to be a live band.
Yeah. There's going to be a band. There's going to be TVs. If they can bring the Goo Goo Dolls in, I think they bring the Goo Goo Dolls in. If they can bring the Tragically Hip, if they can bring in local Buffalo artists, Ani DeFranco would be cool. A variety of people, I think, to bring in would be awesome. And just an area for fans to gather. Obviously,
well, who's the Hips? They're the famous cover band that is from Buffalo.
I forget. Yeah, I don't know that off the top of my head.
Maybe somebody in the chat knows.
I
remember
imagine
they were big back then too.
I don't know if the original Party in the Plaza was ticketed, but I imagine to keep it somewhat orderly, they're gonna have to charge like $5-10 to get in. I don't know.
They don't, man.
They might.
In this economy. They better not. That'd be dumb.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. Like,
dumb.
You do have to, like, especially in this day and age, like there's got to be some semblance of security, right? And there's got to be
the Strictly Hip. That's what it was.
Yeah, there's got to be some semblance of order, and I think that there's got to be a way for them to somewhat manage whatever that situation is, right? Like, if you're thinking organizationally, they can't just have millions of people down there unabated, so like I think it's
I mean, they in Toronto, I mean, I don't think they charge people in Toronto.
I think they do though, or not even charge people. I think like it is a ticketed thing, and there's got to be like some semblance of security. You know what I mean? Like, it is a large scale public event, especially in this day and age. And I think they need to do it in the right way that honors.
I just don't see it working out that way, because even if you do put barricades around, like, what are you gonna do? Like, put it like,
no,
hey, but like, come across this barricade. Well, people are gonna stand outside the fucking barricade.
No, for sure. But like if it is a team sponsored event, which I am on somewhat good authority that it will be, I don't
want them doing that, because it was so organic back from 05 to 07.
But like I just think it's a much different time than it was 20 years ago, and I just think that like there's got to be some semblance of order. It's just my thought.
I mean, we had thousands of people out there, and trust me, there was semblance. I remember no one things ever getting out of hand.
I know, but I guess I'm thinking this from an organization and business perspective, and I know that it's something that they've discussed, and I think that it's something to think about as people are starting to make plans to go down there. I don't think it's going to be a free for all, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be funny to try and get thousands of people to be like, yeah, you can't come to this event on. And
no,
I don't know.
But I would say like treat it like a concert, you know, like you're not necessarily hundreds of dollars, like maybe a $5 ticket to go towards charity or something, but have security measures in place. Because you've seen it at these parades. The Chiefs parade a couple of years ago. You've seen it at a lot of different championship parades. Things can get out of order. You've seen it at marathons. You've seen it at a variety of things. This is a different discussion for another day. I'm just telling you that I think the organization is going to have some hand in this. And given how much different Canal Side is now than what the Party in the Plaza used to be 21 years ago, I just think it's going to be a different type of event, but I think it'll be just as special. I really do.
I mean, I every time, and this is the last thing I'll say on it, like every time you go down to a game, they have plenty of security down there. It's
for sure. I know.
I just don't think you need to charge people or ticket. You know what I mean? If people want to show up, they'll show up.
But I
just think I don't think it's a good look to charge people or ticket people for something that we have patiently waited for 14 years. And we've sat there and gone through hell, literally sports hell.
I guess like,
hey, we're gonna ticket you. No, fuck that.
I'm not saying it's something that I would support. I'm just, I guess, like trying to mentally prepare people for that possibility because I think that might be a thing. So I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, and even if it is $5, I think that's a price people would be willing to pay.
Yeah, I think that's ownership trying to recoup 14 years of not making playoffs.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know. Either way,
I will say that.
Yeah, I do know from people that are close to the team and have worked with the team, this is something they've thought about for months, and this is something they're trying to honor in the best way possible.
I just don't think it's a good look. That's just my opinion. Speaking of which, this I don't know if you brought up beer sabers earlier. Do you see people are selling their beer sabers on eBay for $200?
I don't think they'll get it, but. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That's crazy.
Given that this is one of the best stories in sports, and that kind of was at the beginning of all of this, and nobody can get one anymore. I wouldn't be shocked. Like if the Sabres were to win the cup and they weren't able to get the production of the beer saber in time for the playoffs, I eventually think those will go for like $500 probably.
Yeah,
it's a piece of plastic. It really is. It is a piece of plastic.
It's really what it is. I mean, you want to get it, maybe you get it autographed. Maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody autographs your beer saber.
In another vein, the butter dish is actually super high quality. I would pay up to $100 for a butter dish, but the beer saber is literally, it could come apart at any moment.
Yeah. Well, we're just about to hit an hour here, so I just want to shout out again to any of those people who have contributed with super chats throughout the episode. Shout out to you. Shout out to any of you who are subscribed. And if you are not subscribed, if you are audio only and you've enjoyed this podcast, we are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. For those of you who watch along with us on Twitter, you can find myself at Duane S39. Find my co-host Connor Hurley at CHurls13. You can find the podcast itself at Two Goalies, One Mic. We are available on Facebook and Instagram as well. Just search out the same handles. And most importantly, as I see most of you are watching on YouTube, please smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit your little bell icons, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Couldn't appreciate it any more so. You know, how else are you going to chirp Hurls for probably never seeing Remember the Titans? So
I've seen Remember the Titans.
Okay, well, at least that's a relief. Okay. But hey, I see Alex says he says Maddie missed the show, but I'm glad I was able to check in. Hey, go back and rewatch it. It's fine. So appreciate you all for always popping in. Please make sure you're subscribed. We will talk to you guys on, is it Thursday night? Thursday
night
with Ottawa. We'll talk to you after the Ottawa game. And as always, go Sabres.